Hey guys, Bryan Lebo here with a special video segment I'm calling, Is Vegas Headed for a Housing Bubble? Recently, I've been seeing articles and news coverage warning of a potential housing bubble. Now, I love a good debate. However, nothing I've seen or read has actually substantiated these claims. No actual evidence other than loose correlation between, well, this happens every 10 years. Look at 1997, look at 2007. But in the end, nobody can actually cite relevant evidence that a bubble is actually forming. First, let's revisit the reasons that led to our housing bubble to begin with. Second, we're going to look at the actual metrics that warn us that trouble is actually ahead. Then last, we'll take a look at our current metrics and see if this housing bubble claims are actually valid or not. Okay, first let's revisit what inflates a housing bubble. I've broken this down into 4 categories. First is job creation and/or migration trends. Typically, when a market booms, it's due to disproportionate job creation. Think Silicon Valley, think more recently North Dakota and the sudden discovery of oil. Think Reno with Tesla's Gigafactory. When wealth and job growth is created in a region overnight, the real estate market begins to reflect it due to hyper demand. Other times, it can be due to lifestyle trends. During the 90s and 2000s, people from California and all over flocked to Vegas due to a strong job market, but more importantly, a low cost of living. More recently, states like North Carolina are seeing high migration rates. Next and most important is easy or loose credit. Ultimately, this was the main cause for our housing bubble. When valet parkers are purchasing $500,000 homes, you know there's trouble ahead. Combine easy credit with interest-only loans, and you literally have a plan for disaster. Next comes escalating home values. By providing artificial loans to people that don't qualify or qualify for too much, this artificial demand creates hyper appreciation based on fantasy. However, the more homes are built, the more jobs you create, which creates more people that need this artificial housing. Last and very important is leveraging and speculating. Fear is the greatest motivator. When people see everyone around them getting rich in real estate, people have an innate fear of missing out. As a result, we had people who never thought to or possessed the acumen to invest in multiple homes. We had school teachers owning multiple homes and losing hundreds a month on each home, simply because they knew the homes would go up hundreds of thousands of dollars next year and they would be able to retire. Now, this speculation is just incredibly dangerous behavior and simply irresponsible. Yet thousands of people were actually encouraged to over-leverage themselves on the hopes of it all working out and them becoming rich. In the end, this greed and speculation crushed thousands of people's retirements and savings accounts. Okay, now that we understand what led to this housing bubble, let's take a look at actual metrics. When the market is heading downward, there's a few signs that typically occur. First, you see demand decrease, meaning weak home sales. Second, you typically start to see unemployment increase, since this can either be the reason for slow sales or a result of slow sales upon the construction industry. As demand slows down, you start to see the inventory rise as a result of these weak sales. Once the fear of a crash happens, this motivates investors to just sell off prematurely, which further weakens sales. Last, once you create this perfect storm of low demand and high supply, prices are forced to meet supply and demand. As a result, prices start to decline. Okay, now that we've defined the 4 major metrics to identify an upcoming crash, let's see if our current numbers illustrate a bursting bubble. First is decreasing home sales. As you can see on the screen now, with the exception of July, every month this year, home sales have exceeded last year's between 5 to 11%. Most recently, the past 3 months have been 8 and 9% increases. All right, next is unemployment. As you can see on the screen now, Las Vegas has consistently been decreasing our unemployment rate, not increasing. Next is rising inventory. As you can see on the screen now, our inventory has been absurdly consistent all year. However, at the time of this shoot, we've had 10 straight weeks of declining inventory. We haven't seen a trend like this in over 5 years. Last are declining home values. We started the year with a median price of $215,000. Currently, we're at $230,000. As a result, we're 5.5% higher than this time last year. Now, considering historical appreciation is 4%, you can do the math. I mean, home sales are up instead of down, unemployment is down instead of up, inventory is decreasing instead of increasing, and home values are still increasing instead of decreasing. So in conclusion, not only does it not look like we're headed for a housing bubble in Las Vegas, our market looks incredibly stable. There's two last points I want to point out. First is the fact that in 2007, at our peak, the median price was $315,000. We still haven't even gotten close to that peak value. Meanwhile, areas like Los Angeles and San Francisco have already eclipsed their 2007 highs. So when the media starts talking about a housing bubble, remember, real estate is regional. Other cities may have issues ahead, but that doesn't necessarily affect us. Last, we need to keep things in context. I've said this for the past year. After several years of irrational 20% increases in home values, a 5% increase seems kind of pedestrian, right? But 20% increases are not sustainable. Just because it feels like a slowdown doesn't mean that's a bad thing. In fact, normal appreciation is a great defense against having a housing bubble. So to wrap this up, the next time you read or hear someone prophesizing a housing crash, ask them what real data do they have to back this up, beyond simple paranoia and conspiracy theory. Thanks again for watching, everyone. If you like this video and wish to stay informed, please click here to subscribe so you can stay up to speed with my short monthly update videos. Have a great rest of the year, and thanks again for watching.